Good morning. In this video, I want to talk about, can you truly automate a sales team? And really the question of, can you completely leverage AI to replace the role of an SDR? Now, I've been fortunate enough to be in software sales for over a decade now, so a long time. And I've been able to be a best-in-class salesperson, a first-line sales leader, a second-line sales leader. So I've really seen it all in terms of being on the front line myself, but also being able to lead, run, operate, and scale teams to have a really informed point of view around this topic overall. I'm also a big advocate of AI, artificial intelligence, and just the innovation that we're seeing in the world. I'm a massive advocate, and so I'm all for this topic holistically. Now, my stance on this as of right now is that it's not yet possible to completely automate the role of a salesperson or to completely leverage AI to automate entirely the role of an SDR. Now, let me explain that in a little bit more detail. So when we think of a salesperson, especially a best-in-class salesperson, they're going to go through a number of different phases with a client, from a discovery call to a differentiate stage, which is when they're doing a demonstration. Then they're going to do a proposal and a plan. They're going to work with champions. They're going to work with an economic buyer. They're going to go through all of these stages to work a deal from interest through to driving enough confidence in someone to potentially sign a multi-million-dollar check to come on board as a client, right? Now, when you break down each of those constituent parts, there's a number of elements where AI and automation can be used to either do that entirely or to support or to augment. But with where we are at the moment, what I've generally found is that it can play a role in more supporting, doing admin and augmenting versus replacing entirely. So if we look at the start of a sales cycle, say a discovery call, at the moment, it's very difficult, nigh on impossible, to have an AI engine completely replace the role and the depth required of a discovery-based conversation, unless you offer a solution that is very transactional, right? If you're offering something that is either low value, very transactional, easy to just push through on a conveyor belt, then absolutely you could leverage an AI chatbot to ask a few questions, do a bit of a qualification, and then drive confidence to book a call or to close a deal, right, straight away. But I'm talking about, transformative deals, multi-5 figures, multi-6 figures, multi-7 figures, where often there needs to be some form of ROI assessment, and there needs to be enough depth and trust and confidence built with senior stakeholders to drive enough confidence in them making a big decision like this. Now, that still requires a seller to ask thoughtful enough questions, to really go deep enough with a client, to understand, to then be able to prescribe, to then be able to, again, drive enough confidence to have them sign on the dotted line on a big contract. Now, the SDR role is a little bit more interesting because in reality, generally an SDR is spending all of their time working to speak to prospective clients, to garner some form of interest, generate qualified leads, and then book meetings out the other end. That's generally what an SDR is doing. Now, I want to create separation between when we're talking about automating something and leveraging AI. Now, I'm of the firm belief that you can actually automate the mass majority, if not all, of the role of an SDR, because that's exactly what we do. We leverage cold email predominantly, and we build client acquisition systems to generate the same output as an SDR, which is qualified sales leads. We just do it through a particular mechanism. So I believe you can actually automate the mass majority of that role, because it's exactly what we do, and we do it with a lot of proven success. And if you could do with some help with that, go onto my LinkedIn, drop me a message, or hit the Let's Scale button, book a call, and I'll be happy to talk through how we go about doing that. When it comes to, though, leveraging an AI tool to do this completely end-to-end, the challenge that I've found so far that most of these tools have is in creating the messaging. Because as much as they can create messaging, I've seen much less success when we've created that messaging in-house based on expertise and many years of doing this, versus trying to use an AI engine to take a customer profile, understand that customer's profile, being able to read that, iterate on that, and then create messaging based on that is truly code friendly. There's been challenges in that. I do believe there will be a stage where the engines get a little bit more sophisticated to be able to do that. But I think we're just a little bit green at the moment. I'm going to stay very close to the scene. I want to see how AI continues to advance, because at some point, I'm sure a large part of certainly the slightly more entry-level sales roles will be able to be replaced by AI engines. I just think we've got a little bit of work to do. But when it comes to automation, I believe automation can absolutely play a bit of a displacement role at this stage for the SDR role when all of the right constituent parts are dialed in. This was just a real open conversation here and an open talk through, so apologies if it felt like I went a little bit left and right, but hopefully you got something out of this. And if you want to talk it through in a bit more detail, again, just drop me a note. Happy to have the conversation, and I get quite enthused about these types of topics, so I'd love to talk it through with you. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.